Viktor Gyökeres to Arsenal. Here we go. The total agreement is in place. The deal will complete. They get their main striker target. Arsenal sign one of the best, most prolific strikers in the world in their pursuit to hunt down Liverpool for the Premier League title this forthcoming season. Get the like button hit. Make sure you're subscribing because this is a big boy move for Arsenal. Let's go. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Football Terrace. Breaking news from Ben Jacobs, David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano. Arsenal complete the deal to sign Viktor Gyökeres. It has been a little bit of a stressful week or so since the agreement in principle was in place. There was a few days where Arsenal fans felt maybe this won't go through, maybe this won't get over the line. But Arsenal have got it done. They've signed one of the most prolific strikers in world football. And this is nothing short of a fantastic piece of business. It's as simple, it's as straightforward as that. You can slice it up whichever way you want. I don't buy into this nonsense. He's only doing it in Portugal. What if this? What if that? Look, there's the risk with every single transfer made. But at around 65 million, let's actually look at the actual price here in totality. 63 million euros plus 10 add-ons, 55 million pounds. 55 million pounds. So let me just change something on here, actually, because it's wrong. Let me just change something on my screen right here because we want to be as accurate as we can be. Let's just change that there. That is 55 million pounds, as you can see. For such a prolific, such a deadly, such an amazing striker, there should be nothing but excitement, gratitude, and happiness from Arsenal fans today at the quality of this deal. And that's the thing for me, the quality of this deal. Goals, assists, the way he leads the line, his physicality, his relentless press. He can work the channels. This is a fantastic player on every single level. So listen, I want to hear from Arsenal fans right now. I want to know what it is. I want to know what it is that you're excited about when it comes to this player. How you're feeling right now. Yes, he didn't fly out on Monday. Yesterday it was Monday to be with the party in Singapore. He's a day or two behind, but overall, Arsenal fans must be absolutely chuffed at this news. They must be absolutely over the moon with this news. So I want to hear from you in the comment section below. In terms of the overall breakdown here, let me just put these onto my other screen. So bear with me a second, people, because I like to give these updates, but I just don't like bending my head when I have to read. It gives me pain in my neck. It gives me a pain in my neck. It gives me a pain in my neck. Yes, it does. There we go. Right. Fabrice. Oh, that's Fabrice Hawkins as well. Everybody's tweeting about this now. Everybody's tweeting about it now. Everybody's tweeting about it. Right. Let me just get this up in front of me because I want to read through the actual news here. So Ben Jacobs had just updated again and said that Viktor Gyökeres will sign a 5-year contract with Arsenal subject to the formalities, the medical, etc. 63.5 million plus 10. So a 55 million pound base package with fixed fees reduced from 70 million euros after Gyökeres' agent waived a 10% commission. Payment terms and 2.5 million euro in bonuses needed finalizing after the fee was agreed. Gyökeres decided to wait for Arsenal despite interest in Europe and in Saudi Arabia. He says here, Man United never bid and never had plans to, despite being offered the chance by Sporting to try and hijack the deal. And listen, Man United initially made an approach. I'm not going to sit here and lie about that. But the last 24 to 48 hours, that was Sporting trying to hurry Arsenal along. We've heard about Brentford doing this to Man United, how they were trying to get the player to change his mind and join Newcastle and Spurs because they offered more money. But the player only wanted Arsenal, and I think that is such a positive for the player. I think that is such an important element here when it comes to Arsenal, that the player only wanted them. I think it's really, really key indeed for that to be done. Let's have a look at some more of these stories that have come out here. Just KJ, I know you're backstage. I'm going to send you a message on. I'm just going to send you a message on WhatsApp. This is the Fabrizio update. Fabrizio says that obviously the here we go verbal agreement between all parties in place. He will sign a 5-year deal as well. He only wanted Arsenal, very clear on that. And the actual article from David Ornstein, let's have a little click on this and see what he has said. He said that Arsenal and Sporting are on the verge of a total agreement. So his wording's a little bit different from Ben Jacobs and from Fabrizio, but it is done. A deal worth 54.8 million. Plus 8 million in add-ons and future bonuses have been struck. He says here, but talk to resolve that are now at an extremely advanced stage. So it's interesting that his articles come out at around 2:30, but all of the other journalists are now saying it's all been totally agreed. I'm sure there'll be an update. Maybe there's even been an update for a few minutes here, but the deal is done. The deal is over the line. The deal is agreed. And he will be an Arsenal player. Let's take a look at some of your live comments that are coming in here. This is Berta and the club stayed true to their valuation. Understand fans wanted it quicker, but this is how we gain respect in the market, leverage players' wants. I agree with you. I don't think Arsenal have done anything wrong. They've got the deal down from their asking price, which means they win that battle. They've got the player in the early stages of pre-season. They've signed one of the most prolific, one of the most deadly strikers in the world. I don't believe there can be, I don't believe there should be a single Arsenal fan who is upset, who is angry, who is frustrated. This deal is fantastic. The negotiations, brilliant. The player, even better. This is a 9 out of 10 deal in every single which way. The only way it would have been a 10 out of 10 is if it was done 2 weeks ago. Okay, that puts it to a 10. This is a phenomenal deal, and I can't lie to you. I'm jealous. I can't lie to you. I'm absolutely gutted. I'm gutted. I'm absolutely gutted that Arsenal have gone and signed this player because he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. That's it. That's it. I can't criticize it. I really, really can't. Bear with me 1 second, people here. I've got to send a message quickly. I can't criticize it at all. In no way, shape, or form can I be criticizing that. Sorry, I just send a quick message. At 60 million, we can go in for Isak next year. Eze next. Look, Eze next would be the thing to do. We'll be talking about that on Straight Fact, which we're live on in about 45 minutes. But I'll say this now, though. You're not going to need Eze. You're not going to need Isak, Lord Burkamp. You're not going to need Isak. You've got Viktor Gyökeres. This man is dynamite. This man is deadly. You're not going to need him. I wonder if we're I wonder if they are still allowing flights into Singapore. Yeah, I did agree with you. I agree with you on this. I couldn't believe people were acting like, oh, that's it. He can't catch up with he's literally going to miss a day or so of training in Singapore. He'll be fit as a flea. He's had personal training. And you know what's going to have happened on a real level. Him and Arsenal would have been in conversations this past few weeks. He'll have drills. He'll be ready. The medical is going to be a formality, you would expect at this point. And you'll probably find they've done a lot of background work so they can go in and hand over paperwork as it is already. This deal will complete very, very quickly from this point now. Martin here says, never doubted it. I don't think, ever since he agreed and gave personal agreement to Arsenal, I don't think any gooner anywhere should have been doubting this deal. I don't think any Arsenal fan anywhere should have been questioning this deal. It was always going to happen. It was always going to complete, in my humble opinion. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my view. I'm not an Arsenal fan. So, from my perspective, I wasn't worried about it from your behalf. I was worried about it from a rival's point of view. And that was me knowing. That was me knowing as an absolute guarantee that you guys were going to get him. I just knew it. By the way, if you want to give your opinions, we're going to share the link in the live chat now for you guys to phone in, for you to have your say, to come on and talk about this deal. It'd be great to hear from you all. Whether you're an Arsenal fan, whether you're a rival, let us know. Also, get the like button hit right now, please. Nearly 4,000 people tuning in live, but hit the like button. Get yourself subscribing to the Football Terrace right now. Get it done. And of course, get the bell notification button turned on. I know a lot of you have done it in recent days, but if you don't have that notification turned on, you won't always know when we go live, etc. So if you could get that done for us, that would be absolutely amazing. It really, really would. I'm going to give you all a few seconds to go and get that done for us right about now. Hit the like, get yourself subscribed, and even more importantly, the bell notification, get it turned on. Let's get back to some more of your comments here. The Gunner Down Under. If you're awake, bro, if you're up, phone in. I want to hear from you. Big up, Terry. Sporting just wanted to save face and act like they held all the cards. The deal was done days ago. I agree. And Arsenal could do very little about it. The same as, me and Goldbridge had a laugh about it earlier. He doesn't quite believe it. But you saw what Brentford were doing to Man United. Kept on raising the price. We're trying to convince the player to reject us and go to clubs that bid more. Wanted 77 million, including add-ons, which is exactly what Fabrizio said from day one, 70 million plus. We didn't get the deal down as much as we wanted. Arsenal may feel the same. Arsenal may feel they've maybe paid 5-10 million pound more than they wanted to initially. But you have to stay true to your convictions. You have to stay on point, and this will earn you more kudos. This will get you a better reputation in the transfer window. It really, really will. Now announce his kits so I can splash £140. Well, there are rumors he's going to be the number 14. There are rumors that he's going to be the number 14. There's rumors that he's been in London for the past week. So again, would I put it past Arsenal and the player to have already done interviews, to have already done media shoots so he can just leave now and go to Singapore? And would I put it past them to have already done part of the medical behind closed doors in a private hospital so nobody knows about it? No, none of us would be shocked. None of us would be shocked by that news. If we get a left winger, Arsenal are the most complete team. I think if you guys go and get a winger, you already mean business. Arsenal are already in the title race. Arsenal are already going to be a formidable team next year, a dangerous team next year, a hard team to beat next year. There's no doubt about that in my mind. But when you guys get this, if and when this gets over the line, if you then go on and get, well, it is over the line. If you go on and get yourself a left winger over the line and Eze over the line, that is absolutely next levels. It truly, truly is massive, 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 massive indeed. Joe here says, I'm so happy, not that Victor has come in, but also the base fee is mad. 54 million quid is class by Berta. For such a fantastic striker, it really, really is a class deal indeed. There's just nothing about it as a rival looking in that I can look at and say, yeah, that's bad. I just can't do that. You can't look at this deal in any capacity and say that it is bad. You can't. This bit of business for Arsenal is fantastic. And I want to put this into blunt terms. This is dangerous for everybody. Dangerous for rivals like me who support a team like Man United that are nowhere near your level. You've just gone further ahead. Spurs, further ahead. Chelsea, you've pushed ahead of them. They've had a good summer. Push back ahead of them with this deal. City, you're ahead of them right now for me because you've got a striker that's capable of scoring similar amounts of goals to Erling Haaland. Liverpool is still the one to catch and beat. They have the know-how. They're the current champions. They've had a fantastic summer. But with the Ezes and Rodrigos and others still on the list, still down as possible deals, Arsenal mean business. Signing Viktor Gyökeres is a statement. The deal in itself, the price is fantastic, but let's just focus on the player for a moment here. Let's focus on the player for a moment. And remember, this is an elite level goal scoring machine. Simple and as straightforward as that. 39 goals in 33 league games last year. And some will say, but penalties. Yeah, prolific. Let's not forget 2 years ago when Arsenal were in a title race, as brilliant as Saka is, imagine he didn't miss that penalty against West Ham. Imagine Odegaard last season doesn't miss that penalty against Manchester United. Whenever you hear someone say but penalties, instantly disregard their footballing opinion. It's naff. Their opinion means niche if they start disregarding a prolific penalty taker. The same as someone that will disrespect a good corner taker or a good free kick taker like David Beckham, as if it's not an important attribute of football. 7 assists as well last year is not to be scoffed at, okay? 1.48 GA per 90 minutes. 97 goals in 100 odd appearances in 2 years for Sporting Lisbon. Plus an amazing international goal scoring record, very good goal scoring record in the Champions League as well. So his numbers are translating and transcending right across multiple competitions. An elite goal scoring machine. Then you have the physically imposing element and his tactical sort of adaptability. The physical part, listen, you've seen him. He's tall, he's muscular. You know, no Diddy here. You see him with his shirt off. The man's ready to go. You know, he's an athlete. He's got power and he has pace. He has strength. And that is so important, not just because of the strength and the speed of Premier League defenders, but also the high press. The high press that Arsenal implement, he is going to be better at that than we've seen from Kai Havertz because he's just a better physical specimen. You can't get away from this. You can't denounce this. You can't pull away from it. That is what he is. He's a physical specimen in that regard. The element of his game that I've seen completely disregarded by rivals on such a regular basis is his ability to drop into the half space, to come into the half space, hold up the ball, to play in the wide individuals, to move into the channels. He does very good. And again, it's a basic thing here. I'm not a tactico. I'm not trying to make football sound like rocket science. He gets the ball. He plays brilliant 1-2s with his teammates around him. The amount of goals that his teammates have scored. Now, he may not get the assist. He may not get the goal. He may not get a bit of GA. And I know we all hate the phrase pre-assist, but the amount of times, go and watch sporting games, because I was watching them a lot when we got Amorim, and I wanted Gyökeres at Manchester United. He drops deep. He'll pick the ball up. He'll play a 1-2 with a winger, with a midfielder that's breaking into the box. That player then may cut it back to somebody else and they may score. But Viktor Gyökeres has the ability to bring that link play in. Now, I also think that this deal gives Arsenal momentum and belief as well. This is not just about him as a technical footballer. When it comes to talking to Eze, when it comes to speaking to Rodrigo, this is a power play. This is a trump card, for a want of a better expression. We have gone out and bought the best available striker in the world, because he is the best available striker in the world for Arsenal. Isak's not available. Haaland's not available. Mbappe's not. Who's available? Genuinely available and attainable for Arsenal. Maybe Isak is, but the rumors are he wants Liverpool anyway if he leaves. Therefore, he's not attainable for Arsenal. So it's pie in the sky if he doesn't want you. You know? Margot Robbie could be single. If she doesn't want to date me, there's no point me asking her out. It's futile. I'm just going to be left flaccid and all alone. Depressed. She said no. I'd rather pretend. Some people would rather pretend. But I think getting him in sends a message. I think bringing him in is a shot across the bow to Liverpool. I think it may help land other players, because this is nothing short of amazing business by Arsenal Football Club on every single level. The link-up play, the physicality, the goals, the price, everything. 9 out of 10. 110%. I believe what I'm saying here. 9 out of 10. This is the scariest signing I've seen Arsenal make in 20 years. In 20 years, the scariest signing they have made, we have just witnessed. For years. And I know there's gooners in the comment section that are going to get this and understand it. The amount of times I've seen you in maybe the last 15 years in title races or looking good, and there was that great ongoing saga, and it was only TalkSport that played this saga out because social media didn't really exist or didn't exist at all. You know, Higuain, is he on a plane? Is he coming? The amount of Januaries Arsenal were in title races, they didn't go and sign that striker. 2 summers running, they didn't improve that area, and it was ridiculed. You know, the amount of times Arsenal look like they could go on and do something, and they just haven't added the right level of quality at the right time, has left Gooners for many, many, many a year furious, frustrated, angry, tearing their hair out in many ways. You know, why is my club not behaving like a giant club? Why have we left the manager? Whether it was Wenger, whether it was Emery, whether it was Mikel Arteta, why have we left them short? I remember Dan Potts on the Football Terrace at the beginning of last season stating he wasn't even looking at Arteta too much. It was the fact that Edu and the board let him down. This is the complete and utter opposite. This is the reverse. This is the antithesis of what we have seen from Arsenal in the past. Now, of course, they need more. They need more than just this statement signing. They need more on the left. I still think there's rumors today they may have called their interest in Eze. We're going to speak about that a lot on Straight Facts on the Football Terrace later today. Is that a ploy? Is that a way of publicly negotiating to try and get better terms or drive the price down? We will see. More is certainly needed. Arsenal will not complete at this particular moment in time. But Viktor Gyökeres, this is the scariest signing from this football club that I have seen in many, many, many a year. I think of all the available strikers in the world, he's unmatched when it comes to finishing. He's the perfect tactical mold and physical mold that Arsenal need. And it's the momentum, the encouragement, the enthusiasm that this will inject into the rest of that Arsenal squad. Imagine what they're feeling like right now in Singapore. They're all in a good mood. Why would you not be? Multi-millionaire footballers living your dream, traveling the world. But they're all going to sit there now. They're going to see this news. They're going to know Gyökeres is coming. That is going to make everybody work harder, everybody more excited. Unless, of course, you're a rival of Arsenal's. Today is a champers day for Arsenal. You should all be absolutely over the moon. There shouldn't be a negative Nelly in sight. There shouldn't be a sad face in sight. It should be excitement only, because this, as I've already said it, I'll repeat it again, is maybe the scariest signing we've seen in the last 20 years that Arsenal have made. And as a rival, I'm not going to lie, it pisses me off. But I can't sit here and denounce it. I can't sit here and try and make an argument that it's a bad deal. It is absolutely fantastic in every single which way. It truly, truly is. Do me a favor and leave your comments below. Make sure you're hitting the like button and make sure you are subscribing to the channel as well. It means a great deal to us that you're doing that. And I can't wait to read all your comments below. Now, we're going to take some calls from you guys now as well. It's important to hear from you because you are the lifeblood of the Football Terrace. I'm staggered, by the way, how many of you are actually tuning in right now. Just thank you all so much for being here. But I've got a request. We're going live in half an hour again for Straight Facts. I want to see you all back for that. I want to see every single one of you here back for it, for that show. But let's jump into some calls now. Where's my earphones? Let me put my earphones on so I can hear you all speak. I'm also going to turn the fan in my office off. It's very, very warm in here this afternoon. Who's coming on first? We're getting Anton on the show first to have his say with us today. Shannon's backstage, Albert's backstage. We're going to be hearing from you guys as well. But Anton, the deal's done.
Come on, Arsenal! Oh, I'm so pumped here. No, you keep going. By the way, very well said, your monologue. It was actually, you almost brought me to tears, honestly. Like, just because it's very surreal, this moment. Like, I think every Arsenal fan can sit with me that we've been literally re-scrolling our Twitter feed for the last 2 weeks nonstop, waiting for this. Here we go, and it's finally here. It's like, I can't believe it. And look, I've been fighting back and forth with a lot of my own fan base over the last couple of days. They've all been losing their heads. People saying, well, I'm not excited for the season. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Arsenal are having their best summer we've had in, as you said, the best signing in probably 20 years. Like, and everyone's like, oh, this is not good enough. We're going to go into the season with the same attack, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you know, They clearly bought Madueke, which means they're not buying a winger, they're not buying not buying an attacking midfielder. All this stuff, Arsenal fans are just going crazy, and I'm like, guys, chill out. Like, the striker hasn't been bought. Where preseason's begun. Hey, guess what? Preseason begins tomorrow. I'm hoping you're having a match reaction after we play AC Milan. But
I will be live after that. Yes, I'll be live after that game. Yes.
Yep. And Viktor Gyökeres is now an Arsenal player, and it's going to change the mood. Everyone's going to be tuning in for that preseason game with a whole different, attitude. And we're going to have the best striker in the world, in my opinion, statistically. I know we can have a debate on who is the best. I reckon there's a handful in there. You got Isak, you got Haaland, you got Mbappe, and you got to have Lewandowski in there, and probably Gyökeres, probably somewhere around there. Tell me if I left anyone out, but he's a top 5 striker at least. I went from 1 to 5, but he's top 5 somewhere in there. And now he's going to be leading the line for Arsenal. The sign that we've always needed this whole time. I'm super, super excited for this team. And now we get to, I think, focus on preseason, let him gel with the rest of the squad. I imagine he'll be probably playing at least by Hong Kong, because I think they're going to have to take some time for him to bed in with the squad, for him to travel over there, do his medical. They take ages with these announcements. So I can't imagine the official announcement won't come out until close to the weekend. But man, I'm pumped. I'm on cloud 9.
And you should be, as this super chat here from Gunner Down Under says, his best finisher in the world available, and he only wanted us, speaks volumes. And I think that echoes a lot of what you're saying, and that's why Arsenal fans I look at life like this. It doesn't mean you have to be happy with everything this summer or everything at the club, but in isolation, you can have a moment where you go, this is quality. And I think that's what Arsenal fans should be focused on right now, in my personal opinion, because you're going to see him play in pre-season. The sobering fact for me is that he'll now be ready in your team to start that opening game of the season at Old Trafford. And
get ready, because that's your team. We're going to be up first on the chopping block for Arsenal. So
no, I absolutely agree.
And the team that wanted him so well, so much.
I know. That's the bit that's bothering me, because I've said it all along. I felt that story, that's the fixture, that story, everything. I never felt like that was fluke, but we got you on the opening day of the season. I felt like it was a part of the ploy the whole time. So yeah, we will see. Anton, mate, I appreciate you coming on, having your say, brother. And we'll chat again soon. Cheers, bro. Thank you. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Shannon is on with us now. Shannon's a gooner. Welcome back to the show, mate.
Hey,
Give us your instant reaction to this news, bro. Give me your instant reaction to this news.
I'm running with the hashtag this season. TTCT. Time to collect trophies. It's time. And this signing gives me the confidence that we can do that. I've always had confidence in my team, in my manager. I just think this is the level-raising center forward that not only gives us excitement, but makes our rivals slightly fearful. We've been bantered over the years for not getting over the line. I think this is a signing where people can say, okay, Arsenal have signed a world-class player. Whether you think the Portuguese league is a good enough league, whatever, numbers don't lie. Ultimately, numbers don't lie. And this player has been doing consistently over the past couple of seasons. In a team like Arsenal, will he score 50 goals? We don't know that. But will he score a good enough amount of goals to possibly push us over the line? 100%. I'm really happy with this signing. Really, really happy, bro.
And you should be. And look, I think what's really interesting is listening to the sort of discourse amongst Arsenal fans in the last kind of week or so, maybe 3 weeks, is the fact that last season it was, we need a striker. If we had a striker, we could win everything. If we had a striker, we'd get over the line. You've got that striker now. So what I don't expect to see from this point is there's always going to be criticism. Criticism should always exist in fan conversations, but the striker's in, the midfielder's in. You're looking at an attacking midfielder as well for more creativity. The Saka backup is in that you've all been asking for. You're good to go and challenge. You're good to go. Once Eze's in, I think it's good to go. I think it's get behind your team, get behind your club, be as encouraging as you can, because I always think Arsenal work better when there's encouragement versus consistent griping. But you've gone and got that striker. This striker in your team last year, your whole campaign would have been different, in my opinion.
And one thing that I like, and I mentioned to a couple of guys in our group chat, is that Gyökeres is kind of against the mold of the players we currently have, which is what I like. I like that he's almost not a plan B, but a plan 8.2, if I make any sense. That he's gonna give us something we don't have. And I think that's why we're looking at an Eze, someone that can burst from the midfield as well, that can take on play, something that we don't have, someone like Madueke, which fans can say what they want to, but his underlying numbers don't lie, So there's a lot of, if you look at the signings that Arsenal have made, they've got one similar trend. They are consistent shot takers. These are high volume shot takers. These are players that, when they get the opportunity, will shoot. And I think that's what Arsenal were lacking last season. It's not that we necessarily needed a centre forward. I think we just needed more players that took more shots and contributed more goals. And I think adding a striker like Gyökeres, potentially maybe adding Eze, and then having Saka fit, Martinelli fit this season, I think is going to be a huge bonus. So, like I said at the beginning, bro, it's time to collect trophies, bro. We are on the cusp, and I think this signing just gives me a lot more confidence in the team and the manager than what I've had over the past couple of years. Because as you know, bro, I've always been a big supporter of Arteta in this project, and I think I'm glad that the board have backed him accordingly.
Yeah. And you even got the same hair color now as Gyökeres as well. Two blondies ready to go for the season, mate.
Standard, bro.
Listen, brother, thank you for calling in, Shan, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon, my G.
Yes, Al. Thanks, brother.
Thank you, mate. Take care. Thank you.
Too,
Jason's
bro.
on the show with us now. Jason.
Come on. Nah, I'm telling you, yeah. Nah, Terry, you always say that, I'm keep on moaning, I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
You do like to moan.
Happy, yeah? But I can't lie, I'm gassed. I'm absolutely gassed. The GROK 9 is finally here, man. It's one of those things, yeah. It's just one of those things. I'm just like, come on, man. Why are you slowing this deal down? Why? Why is it happening? Why is it slowing down? Like, just a little bit of add-ons and you're there. But I think it's a good deal for us, to be honest. It's one of those things where it's just like, I'm happy, but Arsenal, please don't do the bare minimum. Please. We need a left winger. We need an out-and-out left winger. We need a cam as well. We need a creative player. That's it. That's all I can ask for. Other than that, it's a very good signing. Could be a game changer as well. Where, imagine Havertz scored like 14 goals the previous campaign and 9 goals. Moreno scored around like 7, 8, even though he's not a striker. But imagine those two. Imagine the work that those two had in this system. Imagine Gyökeres around like scoring 30.
How do you think he'll do in the Premier League? There's a lot of people out there sort of doubting it because the Portuguese league is a lower standard, etc. But how do you think Gyökeres is going to adapt to Premier League football?
First of all, for those people who are saying that, that's because like whenever it's basically Arsenal. That's Arsenal tax. Everyone's going to talk about that. But if it was their club, they would be talking differently. But I think he's quite suited for the Premier League when it comes to physicality, the way we kind of transition as well. However, I've got one question anyway. It's one of those things where it's like he's more of a transition striker. Like he normally kind of scores most of his goals from like transition, counter-attack. I don't think the way we play, I'm not too sure. But I really feel like, Arteta's going to kind of like tweak the system. I don't think we're going to be playing the same way that we played last season, to be honest.
I think you'll be more attacking, but I think that you tried to transition a lot last year, especially with Saka out for so long. You just didn't have the players to execute it. So when I hear people go, he won't work because he scores a lot on the transition. Well, that's because your team wants to improve scoring goals on transition. It's part of the reason you went for Noni Madueke, because that's where he's at his best, in transition. So I think it's about adding an extra string to your bow, an extra kind of way of playing, as an example. But I think he can play against low blocks. The amount of times you guys get the ball into dangerous areas, you just need someone who is prolific, dangerous, hungry. And I don't think you could have done much better than Viktor Gyökeres, in my personal opinion, mate. I think he's a fantastic piece of business there, and you should be.
Because the only thing that we lack in last season is because there was no. We had all the things. We had the things going forward, but there's no one in the box. It's either someone's dropping back, or it's just like there's no one. It's the box. The penalty box is empty. So I'm glad that Gyökeres is the type of person who's going to be in the penalty box often and score those goals that we actually needed, turning those draws into wins. So that's what I wanted. So fair play. It is what it is.
Absolutely. Jace, listen, mate, I appreciate you coming on, having your say. Absolute legend. Thank you for coming in. On the line next with us is Ace. Ace is here. What are you saying, brother?
Thanks for having me on, bro.
No problem at all. I assume you're an Arsenal fan calling in.
I am an Arsenal fan. I'm absolutely gassed right now. I watch your show all the time. I was waiting for this news before I joined in. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy.
What is it specifically you're happy about? How highly do you rate this Gyökeres deal, my friend?
It was the one I was waiting for, to be honest with you. I mean, they had the Sesko and Gyökeres debate. Gyökeres was always my personal pick. I didn't have any problem with Sesko at all, but the goals just don't lie. I mean, I know everyone's saying about the Portuguese league and XYZ, but it's over 100 goals in 2 seasons. Like, even if he gives us half of that, we're on a new level. And I hear what everyone's saying about him getting in the box and shooting and scoring them goals inside the box, but it wasn't that I needed. I needed a proper shooter, someone who's going to shoot from anywhere. And this is what he does. He will shoot from outside the box. He will shoot from on the corner of the box. And he's going to put the GA of everyone else around him up because they will be able to feed him the ball, even if it's outside the box, and get a goal. Like, this is what we needed to improve our team on a whole. We do need some extra tweaks, but I'm not really worried about that now. The news for today is Gyökeres, so I'm just going to be gassed on that. I'm not thinking about any of the other tweaks right now. I'm just going to celebrate the day. But yeah, I'm absolutely gassed.
Yeah, and you should be. And I think, again, as you say, like, everybody's entitled to say and do what they want. But I'm in your camp here. Today is a day to just enjoy the fact you've signed him. Today is a day just to sit there and say, we've just gone and got one of the best strikers in the world. Almost, sometimes you might have you might be struggling at work, but you might be at a brilliant barbecue with family and friends having a drink. Enjoy it. Think about,
of course, enjoy the moments rather than exactly that.
Because if you're always worried about what might go wrong, what won't happen, what if this happens, what if that happens, what's the point of watching football and never feeling happy? If the only time you're happy is at the end when you win something, you've got to have moments of joy in this. Otherwise, I think you're watching the wrong sport. Who do you want to see next? Who's the next target ace that you think you should go for?
I mean, I would enjoy the Eze. Yeah, that is for me like the next thing that we need to tweak up, because like everyone's saying that he only scores in a transition. To have these players in to help with their whole transition, everyone talks about creativity, but for me, it's more about the innovation of the team. You don't have to change the whole structure, but little tweaks here and there just to make the team better in a whole is what we need.
I hear you, bro. Ace, thanks for coming on, mate. I appreciate it massively. Make sure you phone in again. Really good call, my bro.
I will do.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Bye.
Egal is on with us now. What are you saying, brother? Massive news, my man.
Yeah, huge. This is what we've been waiting for. We needed a striker. I'm very excited. You know something? I did not think it was going to take this long, but now I'm a little concerned that he might not get to go on. I was getting concerned he wasn't going to get to go on the preseason tour. Hopefully he now gets to go meet up with these guys for preseason. Hopefully we get to see him through the door. And guess what? You guys were saying Viktor Gyökeres was going to be playing at Old Trafford. I guess he will be at the first day of the season, most likely. Now that we're going to be facing you guys on the first day of the season. Hey, don't worry. You can always go and get somebody else. He might not turn out to be a better player if you get Sesko. You never know. But at this moment in time, I'm excited. We got exactly who I wanted, and Andrea Berta has come in, and first thing he's done is he's been able to change and pivot the whole transfer plans from Sesko to Gyökeres to the guy that he wanted when he walked in through the door, and I'm quite excited, man. Look at that, 97 goals, 27 assists in the last 102 games for Sporting. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Better return.
Crazy. Sorry, go on.
Better return than Alexander Isak for his country. Better return in the Champions League than Isak also. When people say, oh, he's not going to work in the league. So I'm very excited. And all the people who had concerns, including myself, I'll just say this. Hopefully he comes in and smashes it and he tells everyone to shut their mouth. And this is exactly who I wanted. I never wanted Sesko over Gyökeres. I always wanted Gyökeres.
Yeah, look, I always thought Benjamin Šeško would be a good signing for you. I never changed my mind on that. We're looking at him now. It would not be beyond football to give us Man United Arsenal on the opening day of the season with Šeško and Gyökeres facing each other. I'm very open-minded to that actually happening. I know we've said today that we're not actively looking because the price is too much, but I'm not buying into that story. But I agree with you, Egal. This is a transformative statement signing. One that you've needed for a couple of seasons now. It removes all the debate around Arteta. Deliver, start winning trophies. You've got the striker, You've got decent backup strikers. You've got Saka. You've got a midfield that's excellent. And I still think you're going to buy more. Fabrizio is still saying this isn't it for Arsenal. There is more to come. I think there's a bit of public negotiations going on at the moment with the whole calling talks when it comes to Eze and others. That's because you're trying to sell, and clubs obviously want to stripe you up on price. So the next sort of 5-6 weeks of this window, remember, there's 5 to 6 weeks of the window to go. And Arsenal already have Zubimendi, they've got Madueke, they've got Norgard, they've got Kepa, they've got Mascara, they've got 6 new signings. And there's still 5 to 6 weeks to go with no exits yet. And no one's done any exits yet. And I think the exits come, and then you see more signings, because Arsenal, Liverpool, City, United, no one sold anyone yet. Well, United have got Rashford gone, but that's
Madueke.
Madueke from Chelsea. Actually, that's true, because obviously you went and bought him. But there's been very little done in that regard. And I think you guys are now look at Trossards and maybe a few others and go, who can we move on? And then let's go and execute somewhere else. But I don't think you're done yet.
Terry, we want more. Don't call me greedy. We want more, because we're not done. There's still massive holes in this team, and that is somebody who could assist in the left flank and raise our levels, and also potentially help out with in the 10 in the midfield. And that to me is Eberechi Eze. I know Xavi Simon's linked to us. I know Rodrigo's linked to us. I think it's more unlikely that we go for Rodrigo at this moment in time until we get sales. But if we can bring in Eberechi Eze, who's on a release clause, who has a reasonable release clause with payment structures, Crystal Palace know what they've put. They've given everyone a very realistic option in Eze. What is it, 23 million over 3 years? That is a really good payment structure for Arsenal, and it would help us this window. Plus, won't make us spend too much money over the next couple of windows, paying 23 million for Eze over 3 years. We should do that. And if we bring in Eze, that will make this window, for me, one of our best windows of all time, in my lifetime at least, where we've brought in 3 extremely good level raisers and multiple squad players to raise the level of the squad, where we can now hopefully compete on all competitions. And we also now have the attack that can compete at the top level, because that's what we've been missing over the last couple of years.
I totally agree. And Dayo has joined us as well now. You must be ecstatic with this deal.
I'm finally happy the deal is through. I mean, my fingers were crossed that it would happen. That's the truth. I was hoping that it wouldn't break down, and I'm glad it's gone through. Egal, what's up, man? Sorry, my brother. How you been? It's been a minute. Congratulations again, by the way. I hadn't gotten the chance to tell you that 101.
Don't worry about me, man. Speak about Gyökeres.
No. So I'm happy. Again, like I said,
Forget about the baby. Just speak about football.
I've said this earlier before. I think that the thing for me that was lacking last season was 3 things. Majorly, number 1 is we didn't have a striker. Number 2 is squad depth, and number 3 was in-game management. And we've addressed the striker. We're addressing squad depth. We brought in 6 new players. We still have players that have not exited. So for me, they're surplus to engagement. If anything, if they don't leave, they're surplus. If I'm going to have Norgard as my second DM and somebody else come in as the third DM, if I'm going to have Kyrgios and Mascara on the bench, I'm happy to have them on the bench. If Kyrgios can leave, fine. If I'm going to have Zinchenko as my 4th left back, I'm happy to have Zinchenko as my 4th left back. Squad depth was a thing for us last season, where we had to start playing Mikel Merino as a striker. So for me, key thing is addressing the squad depth. Now, in-game management is now on Mikel Arteta. That's my 3rd issue from last season, but I have to give him a little bit of kudos, because using Mikel Merino as a striker last season when you didn't have one, figuring out a way to kind of just at least stay in the race. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was annoying that we didn't win anything, but just staying in the race for me was a good job. But Gyökeres, I think 97 goals in 102 games in his last 102 games for Sporting across all competitions. So I don't like it when people just say, oh, he played in Portugal. What about the Champions League? He scored in the Champions League against top teams. So, if that's something that we've lacked and we now have it, let's see how that works out. So yeah, it should be it's going to be a tough season though. It's going to be a tough season.
It's going to be, I think it's going to be an amazing season. I think overall, I didn't see Egal went. I didn't have my screen up for a minute. Thank you, Egal. I think it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal football season overall. I think it's going to be amazing. Maybe not as a Man United fan, but we'll see what else we do in the window.
No, let's not do that with Man U. Like, I think people are sleeping on Man U, and I've said this again. I'm going to say this again. Tottenham and Man U are 2 teams that people are sleeping on. People don't want to let's accept the fact that Thomas Frank is a good manager. We all know this. He now has more resources. He's a manager that can play very tactical football and counter football. And now he's got players like Kudus and Gibbs White and all these guys coming to Tottenham, adding to the squad. They still have Madison. They still have all these people. But looking at United, you just signed Mbeumo. You already have a Cunha on the team. And you do have a manager that I think with the right pieces, you guys can also do something. So it's going to be a tough season. Again, let's not forget, there are going to be clubs that are going to come out of the woodworks like Nottingham Forest did last season. There'll be clubs like that, and then there's the Brightons and the, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
That is very true. And I just think the big boys that are in the title race, yourselves, City, Liverpool especially, you've all just done such fantastic business already. It can't not be a brilliant season in my opinion. I'm very, very excited about it. Albert's joined us here as well. Now, what are you saying, Albert?
Today was one of those days I woke up in a really bad mood because of this endless back and forth with the sporting president. I was actually in my head, I was like, they can go now. I think we need to do something extra. Maybe just pull out and say the player can just, cancel his contract by himself and come with that. It was really frustrating me. I can't lie to you. And then it happens a few hours later. I'm very happy about it, obviously. Now it's just Eze. I'm very okay missing out on Rodrigo or any other extra wingers, but Eze has to come in. Or I don't even know who's the equivalent. I think he's perfect to give Odegaard that run for his money because we need that creativity there or something different, a more direct player, faster, more physical player in that spot. If we get Eze, I'm going to say it here that we can win it. It will be with Liverpool, but we win it.
Can I just say this? I think a lot of Arsenal fans, and I appreciate the fact that Eze is an amazing player, and the left side is something that we can talk about as well. But I think we like to kick the can down the line a lot, and we like to move the goalposts. Just last season, a lot of Arsenal fans said, if we had a striker, we win the league. If we had a striker, we win the league. This was the talk. Nobody talked about the left side. Nobody talked about defensive midfield. Nobody said anything. If we keep Thomas Partey this season, we win the league. We bring in the player that I think is, I think not, I won't say miles, but better than Thomas Partey, younger, a little more controlling in the midfield, somebody who's a better metronome than he is in Zubimendi, and you bring in an experienced Norgard to replace a Jorginho as well, and then you bring in a striker that we've all complained about, and more players for depth, Mosquera in defense, a goalkeeper that is not cup-tied, that we know that can play in any of the other cups, which is a Premier League goalkeeper. And now it's like, oh, if we don't get Eze, it's a 6 out of 10 window. And I'm hearing this and I'm just like, hold on. Eze was not your target last year. I get I know, not you. I'm saying generally, I'm talking in the general sense. It's like, for me, once we address an issue, Arsenal fans create a new issue that we want to just be the center of, okay, if we don't get Eze, then it's like, you know what, if we get Eze, great stuff. I think it takes us levels up. It takes us at least one level up on that left side. But even if we don't get Eze and we get a Xavi Simons, it gives us a different caliber of player on that same side. All I'm saying is I'm appreciative of the fact that the sporting director, Andrea Betta, is actually shoring up the team in those positions with either better players or more competitive players. A Madueke on the right-hand side with Bukayo Saka, where Saka can rest, gives you the similar profile, left-footed right wing player. Right, might not be the same style, but same profile, which allows the team to play. So for me, yes, the left side we need to address it, but I'm not going to kill myself if we don't have the left side. Honestly speaking,
but the thing is, as far as I'm concerned, it's because everybody else has done just that little extra. There's no running away from it. I mean, Liverpool are basically they just went bonkers, and we can't pretend that depth will not come crucial because we are chasing 3 different trophies at the very least, and there's no slacking.
I hear
there's
you.
no slacking. You can't say that I can play FA Cup a weaker team or no. Everybody's going hard for the trophies.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the team we have now, even if you break them down to first 11 and Minus the AZ, because I don't like to talk about players who have not arrived. This is why you will not see me talk about Gyökeres up until today. I don't talk about players until I am dead sure like you are in the club. So minus AZ this season, am I still able to play a strong team with a Kai Havertz playing in 9 and resting Gyökeres in the FA Cup? Yes. Am I still able to play a strong team with Martinelli play? Yes, I can. In the
I hear you, Dayo. I've got to jump in for a minute because I've got another stream starting in a few minutes' time, and I've got to get through a few super chats here. First one here says, Egal, you were gassing up our squad all season with no real foundation, and now you say there's a massive hole in the team. Which is it, Guy? Big up Simon Phoenix, Wesley Snipes from Demolition Man. That was to Shannon earlier. Yeah, I like that. Arteta and Arsenal have to deliver. No more phases. This here says, have a beer on me, Terry. Thank you very much, Carl. I appreciate that. Ginger Bish, we definitely need to see Amorim 2-foot Gyökeres on the pre-match warm-up for the first game. Hostile settings. What a signing for Arsenal, though. Guna Talk here with a donation to us. Thank you, brother. People will say Ozil, but he never had the team to kick on, so I would agree. But how long ago was that signing? That's got to be about 15 years ago now, that signing. Maybe even longer. Maybe a bit around that. So, yeah, maybe he goes into that category. But he didn't scare me as much as this did. But maybe that's because Man United were better when you signed Ozil. So we have to look at these things comparatively when we talk about this. I don't believe it until I see him wearing an Arsenal kit. Believe it, my friend. It's happened. Joe here says 54 million for Gyökeres or 80 for Šeško. Sometimes the sporting director has to put the manager in his place. This here as well from Akin says, Eze fits us way better than Xavi and knows the league, turns up in big games and scores individual goals. Eze is who we need after Gyökeres. Look, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank the boys for phoning in. I'm live again in a few minutes right here on the Football Terrace. This is going to redirect you to straight facts. So stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Stay with the Football Terrace. We're going to redirect you there right now, people. We can't take any more calls. I'm sorry. We'll do more call-ins later this week. I promise you all. But join us on Straight Facts. We're going live in about a minute, people. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. Let me make sure it is redirecting you all there. It should be. Yes, it's redirecting you to Straight Facts. Let's go.